What's up, everyone? Bonky Glonkers here. We're making another Ken. Got the sword turned up. Some of my finest work going out to a fine gentleman. Got some cups. We're making a flipper again. So I'm gonna show you guys how I fit these up and finish them. As you can see, these cups do not have a hole. This sword does not have holes yet. I'm just gonna set this over by my bit. And yes, it is absolutely wrecked in here. I just finished my drop. I just did this, just did that, just did the other. All right. So, that seems like a good place. All right, so here's how I do my fit ups. I've got someone working on a jig for me, which is gonna be interesting. But I basically get two pieces that I know are the same thickness just to make this flat for the calipers. Then I take a clamp my fresh cups in between these two pieces of wood that I know are the same thickness. I'll take my calipers and just double and triple check that my cup stall points are the same size as each other. And it looks perfect. So then I'll get an overall measurement of the entire thing from the outside of this piece of wood to the outside of that piece. And the reason I do that is because it gives you a flat surface. If you try to do it on the cups, it's easy for like the side of the calipers to like dip into the side of the cup and give you an inaccurate reading. Okay, so these ones are 88.31. So for half of that, we'll bring it down to 44.15 on the caliper. Okay. Boom. That's very precise. But this needs to be as precise as possible because, there we go. So bring it down to 44.15 on the caliper, and then I'm gonna take that, make sure that this surface is flat on the back of the piece of wood. And then I'm just gonna make a little mark. Same thing on the other side, and it looks like they line up right on top of each other, as they should. Make a little mark. And then I'll take it out of my clamp jig thing. I'll take my awl, put a mark right down the middle, like right where those lines are. Then I'll come over to my clamps, which I have wood in to keep, which I have two pieces of wood in to keep this from getting marks on it from the metal. Okay, so let's slide that in there. Make sure it's lined up pretty well, perfect. I cut this piece shorter so I could see a straight line, and this part, I mean, you're gonna put the hole right through the middle, but I try to keep my grains facing this way, like that. So I just try to make it look as perpendicular as possible on these pure maple ones, that is. So yeah, let's see if I can find a place to put ya. Does that work? Yeah, that's pretty good. Just stay there. Okay, so now what I'm gonna do is, and I mean, I'm doing this kind of like, you know, as usual with the tools I have and how well they work, is something else sometimes. So I'll make sure that this is clamped in straight with that hole right down dead center. Then I'll take a drill bit, pretty small. This one's probably about 1/4 of an inch. Put it into the drill press. This was a Facebook Marketplace drill press that didn't come with a chuck key. So since I'm usually just drilling a hole that's gonna get reamed out, I just tighten that by hand. Then I'll find that mark, take my drill bit, and just make sure that it goes directly down onto that mark. And this is probably a crazy way to do this. If anybody does it an easier or better way, let me know. But yeah, then I just kind of hold this whole vise in place with my hand Squeeze it as tight as I can, make sure it doesn't move. Turn on the drill press and press the hole. All right. Now that I've done that hole, you can see it's pretty much dead in the center, as it should be after measuring it up. Then I will take the smaller bit out, put in this bigger bit. This larger bit that's closer to the size of the reamer, which I have a 1/2 inch reamer. I'll show you that in a second. It was in the tool breakdown though, I think. So yeah, then I'll put in this bit, get it mega tight. Make sure it lines up with the smaller hole. And the reason I do that is because if the smaller hole is like a millimeter off, you can fix it with the bigger bit. But this time I pretty much nailed it. So just gonna make sure this is gonna go straight down the center of that hole, just by pushing it up and down a little. Very good. Then I'll turn this back on. That's it. Boom, and just like that, we now have a hole straight through the center of this. And then we'll come over here to my other interesting setup, where I just have a bench vise with a 1/2 inch reaming bit viced into it as hard as I can possibly get it. And then let's see where I can put this over here on the saw. Yep. Okay, so then I'll take the one that I just had, decide which side's gonna be the bottom. I think I'm gonna do this side as the bottom just because it's the same, it's all maple. But if I do this side as the bottom, then this cool X that's in the maple is gonna be on the outside, which I just think is nice aesthetically. So yeah, then I'll just start pushing it down onto the reaming bit and twisting. And this, I mean, there's probably better ways to do this. I know there are. I've just found this to be the way that I can just make absolutely sure that I don't drill it too far and make the cups press down too far onto the spike. So I'll just do that. And I know about how big the spikes are and about where I want it to sit. Just based off of looking at it and using a Tama to measure it. So yeah, we're gonna push it down, twist it, push it down, twist it. Looking at the spike, try to make sure we don't go too big. Once we get to a certain point, I'm gonna take it off and just check. Yeah, see, it barely goes on now. So we know we don't have to do too much more. So we'll just give it a few more twisties. Boom, boom. I love maple, it just carves up so nice. And just like everything, it does what I want it to. Perfect, so let's test it again. Boom, so we can take our Tama. You can see that the spike is right at that line, but for the size of these cups, that's a little short. And you can see that that barely kisses right there. So really, we're just gonna take it down by like 1 more millimeter, and then it should be great. Just like a couple little more twists. Boom. Take it off. Boom. That looks so perfect. Okay, boom. Boom. We got it going just a little bit past that for the birds and stilts right there. We got a nice lock on the axe and underbird. And yeah, so there you go. There's the fit up. Now I'll show you the string holes. All right, so for the string holes, hopefully you can see this. Let me move all these little blanks out of the way, all this junk out of the way, sawdust, drill bits, blah, blah, blah. Boom, I need this caliper again. So, if I did my measurements and everything correct, then I should be able to drill a hole through the sword at about 110. And that will be absolutely perfect. Wow. Nice. This one couldn't have turned out better. I'm stoked, in case you can't tell. And it just looks so good, man. All right, like I did a naked maple one for the homie. You'll probably see it again if you pay attention. So then I take my drill bit that's about the same size as a string, which I can measure it actually. Yeah, so it's like 1.7 millimeters. And what I did with the caliper was I put it at 110 like this and just pressed a little mark into the wood right where I'm gonna drill it. And you do want the grain lines facing towards the cups, because then for taps, it's got the strongest part of the wood getting tapped. Like this, it's like less likely to chip and break on taps if you have the grain facing with the cups. So we'll take our little drill bit, toss it into our Walmart drill. We got a hyper tough corded drill out here. Very nice. Okay, and then let's see. Yeah, this counter doesn't matter if it gets drilled into, it's a workbench, but if you don't want the counter you're using to get drilled into, you can just put like a piece of wood under it when you drill it. So I just put it right onto that dot, make sure it's lined up with how I want it to be, and then make it perfectly perpendicular, and just slowly start it, and then drill through. Okay, and wait a little bit, just to get some of that dust off. Boom. And then while I still have the string-sized drill bit, I'll make sure I'm going on the right side for the string holes. Come down, and you can put your string holes however you want. On my own personal ones, I don't even put string holes right on the Serato because I just like it. Mr. Athens Axes showed me his setup, and he just pushes it through, and then I found that for lunars and stilts and axes, and like pull-up flips, it just flips so straight. But for ones that go out, I go ahead and measure down to 3 millimeters. Put a little mark on it on both sides, right at 3 millimeters. Boom. And that's about the distance I've found where the space the drill bit takes up lets it be close to this Serato hole without punching through. So yeah, I'll put those little marks and then line it up, put it in the little mark, make sure it's perpendicular, start slow, and then drill it out. Okay, very nice. Other side, make sure you got everything lined up straight. I'm doing a lot of the straightness by eye, and it usually generally works out, but I've done a lot of different types of very like technical work. So like if you don't think that you can get it lined up by eye like that, then you can use like straight edges. But as you can see, I mean, those are pretty much straight across from each other, pretty much right in the middle. Then I'll take an awl, put it in the hole, and just rotate it around a little bit to get rid of that sharp edge and make sure a string can get through there. This is a point where you also want to be really careful. Okay, like push the wood chips that are sticking out into it and then do it again. Boom. So now it's a little rounded off and it won't cut your string. Same thing on the other side. Okay, nice, there we go. Then go ahead and take the sword, decide which side you want to be on the outside. I kind of like this little X in the grain patterns to be on the outside of this one. So whichever side you want to be on the outside is the side the knot of the string goes on. So then I'll take a drill bit about the size of the knot of the string, switch it out on my drill, boom. And then we'll come in and put it just a little bit, just enough so the knot can fit in there without like degrading the integrity of the sword. So just a little bit, check it. Perfect. So see, that doesn't go all the way through. Then I'll take the awl on both sides of the little hole, make sure it's not gonna have debris in the way or cut the string. Boom. It's all fit up. It's got the right holes. We'll put this right-handed. Boom. That is a finished maple kendama, and it just looks so good. I almost want to keep it, but I gotta send it out. Wow.